Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on Erit Academy. So welcome back to our daily issue analysis. And today also we have taken very important issue from the current affairs. So let's start our discussion. So today we have taken this news of freebies in India, and we already know that why it is in news. It is in news because of these articles that economy losing money, freebies distribution is a serious issue according to Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is terming it as a serious issue, and this promise of freebies, Supreme Court has told that it is irrational. Okay, and freebies case Supreme Court refuses to look into the aspect of de-recognizing political parties because it told that it is not in their domain and they are not authorized, or you can say, well, it would be wrong on their part to look into this matter. So, for that purpose only, Supreme Court has decided to set up a committee with the representation of Niti Aayog, Finance Commission, Election Commission, Reserve Bank of India, and political parties for what? To study the impact of freebies on taxpayers and its impact on economy. And accordingly, that committee would recommend measures to regulate it. And very recently, even our Prime Minister said in this month only, he said that it's time to stop this practice and called it the revenue culture, hurting the economy, its development and well-being. So even Prime Minister has commented upon it with respect to revenue culture, and the Supreme Court has also told it that it is irrational and it is one of the serious issue. And few days back, our 15th Finance Commission Chairman N.K. Singh also said that it is very serious issue and it can lead to crisis at the state level, and it is passport to financial disaster. So everybody is terming it as a wrong thing, and definitely we know that what is the impact of freebies on voter pattern, on the democracy, and its impact on the exchequer. So we will discuss the issues, pros and cons, then you will get further more clarity. Now we will analyze the status and extent of freebies in India. So generally speaking, this origin of freebies culture in modern India, if we trace it, then we can trace its widespread culture in southern part of India, especially related to politics of Tamil Nadu. And if we have to start there as well, then Kumar Swamy Kamaraj, the chief minister of erstwhile Madras state, he introduced these freebies culture in the form of free education, free meals for the school students between from 1954 to 1963. In fact, even after that, DMK founder CN Annadurai, he also took this practice of forwarding 4.5 kg of rice for rupees 1 through public distribution through PDS. Even in 2006 election, DMK stepped into this woozing the or impressing the voters, attracting voters by offering color television to its voter. Even during Jayalalitha's time, also they used to offer many things, mixer and different parties. They used to offer different things, different freebies to attract the voters. Not only that, this freebie culture has exploded and it is widespread across India in different forms, in the form of chicken biryani or bottle of liquors to goats being offered to the voters in return for votes. And also sometimes the money is being offered to the unemployed, waivers, stimulus packages. Okay, so time to time these offers are being given by the political parties to impress, to attract the voters. And in Andhra Pradesh, Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy, he told that his government has spent somewhere around rupees 1.62 lakh crore under various freebies scheme. And this is despite the fact that the state was recently mortgaging government land and offices to run the administration. That is the irony. That on one hand you are saying that this is the problem, and we have given the freebies worth rupees 1.62 lakh, and on the other hand, in order to get money, you are mortgaging government land and offices to run the administration. Okay, so that is the irony. Also, Punjab is another debt ridden state which is unable to end unnecessary subsidies despite of the poor finances. So successive government in states, they have failed to end their schemes like free electricity or free water, despite an increase in farmers' income. Even though farmers' growth is happening, income is there, but free water, free electricity is being offered by the successive governments just to appease the voters and to attract for vote bank politics. So Punjab is one of the few states with debt above 50% of GSDP. Okay, so gross state DP. Okay, so that is the status. So Punjab is one example. Next is Aam Aadmi Party. Aam Aadmi Party went to the polls in Punjab early this year itself, and they promised that 300 units of free electricity every month will be given, and they also promised that rupees 1,000 to every woman in the state will be given. Okay, and these two schemes, if we combine, they are likely to put an additional financial burden of at least rupees 20,600 crore on the state, on the exchequer. Now, with this data, we have seen, or the history, the chronology, the state and extent, it's across all over India in different forms. We have discussed about the parties, we have discussed about the states, and with respect to with the help of data, we are trying to understand the gravity of the problem and the volume of the money which is involved behind all these things. So you can use them in order to substantiate your argument. With respect to freebies, do you think that there would be any pros? So, with respect to pros, what could be the possible pros? So, the first pro can be related to that it supports the concepts of welfare state. And if we talk about constitution, so constitution also plays an obligation on the states to make proactive measures for the welfare of poor people and the downtrodden people. For example, Article 39B calls for resource distribution for achieving common good. So if we analyze from this point of view, definitely freebies are helpful, but the other side would be when we will analyze that it is very temporary measure. We are not building the capabilities. It is just reaction, but it is not a solution. Okay. The second pros, you can say that it enhances the participation of sections of voters. So voter turnout, it helps in increasing the voter turnout during electoral process to some extent, who otherwise would have remained disinterested altogether. So that way, if you analyze, these two can be the pros. But for this particular issue, there are more cons than pros. Okay, so that we have to discuss in detail. Now we shall discuss the different consequences related to the freebies in India. So starting with the first argument that it leads to huge burden. It is a huge burden on the state exchequer, and we have already discussed in our data when we were analyzing the state and extent that how Punjab is one of the few states with debt above 50% of GSDP owing to the freebies culture of free water, free electricity. Okay, so this is one data which will help you in substantiating this argument. And also, according to ADR, Punjab's debt burden is one of the highest in the country, and they have analyzed it with respect to rupees, that is rupees 2.82 lakh crore as per the government records itself. And the public debt of Andhra Pradesh hits rupees 3.89 lakh crore in the financial year 2021-2022. Okay, so either of data should be there to substantiate your point that how will you justify this huge burden on the exchequer. So this is one aspect of the consequences. Second, it leads to drain of states resources. Like if farm loan waiver is given in Maharashtra, then definitely the resources will be diverted. So it resulted in outgo of rupees 45,000 to 51,000 crore during the financial year 2020 to 2021. Now just imagine that resource could have been used for some other purposes, but farm loan waiver has been given. So it is one of the consequences just to appease the voters. Also, it leads to reduction in capital investment. So election promises are made without taking into account the means to finance them. As a result, states are forced either to borrow more or cut on the expenditures like infrastructure, education, healthcare. So basically, the capital investment gets compromised because of this freebies culture. And even to sometimes whatever promises are being made, government or the political parties, they don't know even how they will finance that, and because of that reduction, the compromise will be there on the capital investment. or the long term investment. Also, next argument is that it creates social inequality. So freebies targeted towards particular section of voters. Hence, what will happen? There will be a compromise of Article 14, Article 15, Article 16, and thus only few section or for vote bank politics, only few groups will be targeted by the political parties. So it is creating some artificial boundaries. It creates social inequalities also, which is against the constitutional values and constitutional morality. Next argument is related to misinterpretation of the socialist ideals for political gain. So we say that yeah, welfare should be there, socialist approach is there, but this socialistic ideals of the constitution is being misinterpreted or and is being used as a tool for political gains. So preamble of the constitution talks about that the Union of India is a socialist state, but the concept has been applied selectively just to influence the voters. If we analyze it from fiscal discipline point of view, then fiscal discipline gets compromised because the cost of servicing the interest rates. So what is happening? Increase in subsidies on non-merit goods such as freebies is going to make a fiscal deficit of any government unsustainable. So we have another data from ADR. So what you will do, you have analyzed it, you have given the argument, now you will substantiate that argument with the help of data. So ADR is saying that Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Karnataka footed the highest power subsidy bill, which was equivalent to rupees 48,200 crore, approx 200 crore, or you can say the according to ADR, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Karnataka, they had highest power subsidy bill, which was approx 36.4%. So one data I have told the same state set of states. I'm telling it with respect to percentage and other with respect to the volume of money. So fiscal discipline will get compromised definitely. Also, the core issues remains unaddressed. So be it the poverty, unemployment, parties claim that they are only trying to give voters what they lack. In other words, poverty drives the deal between the political parties and the voters here. However, undefined it may appear to be. So even though they will say that nothing is happening, nothing is happening, but it is a compromise. So it is a collusive act, but it is a temporary arrangement. It is not hitting the root cause and it is not for the long term purpose. So what is, if we analyze it from the point of view of Amartya Sen, he says that we are not building on capabilities through this laptop, through these bicycles, through in order to vote the in order to appease the voters. We are having this symptomatic reaction rather than hitting the root cause. So that is not advisable. And the last argument which you can analyze is that how it compromises the democratic principle. So democratic principles gets compromised. Okay, because this overall practice is unethical practice. It is like giving bribes to the electorals, our voters, at the cost of the exchequer to just stay in power. Okay, let us stay in power and we are funding you, we are giving you bribe for that. So it is not a way through which social contract, be it according to Hobbes or according to John Locke or according to Rousseau, should function. So voters cannot be because of these. If you are analyzing it from a democratic principle point of view, so first argument you should give is with respect to that it is one of the unethical practices. And what is happening when I give money as a political party to any voter, then they cannot make informed decision because I have hit their we have hit their emotional aspect and they are not able to make the informed decisions. They are not able to make informed decisions, and as part of article 326 they are not able to exercise their franchise in more appropriate manner. So practices such as freebies underestimate the electoral judgment of the voters. So electoral judgment, it gets clouded emotions or the money or the appeasement, they will lure them rather than informed decision making. Thus, it makes the whole election process, the political system, and the cripples the parliamentary democracy. So, analyze from all the dimensions. Analyze from economy point of view, polity point of view, rights point of view, values point of view, ethics point of view, society point of view. Then only your arguments will become holistic in nature. Okay. So this is it with respect to consequences. Now we shall discuss the impediments in curbing the freebies culture in India. So what are the problems? What are the impediments? So the short-sightedness or the myopic vision of the voters. We as a voter, we live in present. So if we are getting some benefit in the present, we are not bothered about the future. We think, okay, theek hai, no problem. Whatever will happen in future, we'll see. Within 2011 to 2014, if we analyze West Bengal's per capita income, it was less than all India average by 12.2% because of this freebies. Artificially, the everything was kept low, and there was problem of unemployment. If we analyze from the regulator point of view, that is election commission, so they have limited power. In fact, Supreme Court in 2013 in S Subramanian Balaji case stated that it is beyond election commission's power to regulate the announcement of freebies by political parties just before the election. It is beyond their control, and any such regulation will need legislative backing. In fact, within RPA Act, Section 123 is there with respect to corrupt practices. So these promises which are made in election manifesto cannot be constructed as, or it cannot be declared as corrupt practice. So election commission is helpless. Election commission cannot do anything under RPA Act. Also, if political parties they themselves are involved, so why they will have this will to control freebies? So there is a lack of political will to control it. And also we have criminalization of politics which is increasing in India. So according to ADR, the share of MPs with criminal and serious criminal cases increased to 43% and 29% according to the analysis of the 539 winners of 2019 Lok Sabha election. And these candidates often resort to distribution of liquor, money, goods to lure voters. So when they are attracting voters through this only, so and they such people are only coming to power, then how they will have this will to control the freebies culture? Also, concealment of government's performance. So freebies are often used as a means to conceal the poor performance of the incumbent governor on economic and social parameters. And they provide an opportunity to alter the voters' mindset from real issues to short-term goals. Diversion करने में help मिलती है. Actual issues से actual मुद्दे से बात हटाने में अच्छा हो जाता है. Okay. And what next? What are the challenges? So we definitely know that there is a problem of prevailing unemployment in India. So unemployment rates are high. So if somebody is giving free for something, then why people will not take? Poverty is there, unemployment is there. Okay, so educated youths are also unemployed. So if government is giving something, so they will happily take any these such benefits. The cost of living is increasing, and because of this cost of increase in cost of living, if we get something for free, then we will not hesitate. So this mindset is itself is that, let's, if we are getting free, then what is the problem? It is the problem of the political parties, but we don't know, we don't understand its consequences in long term on the economy or on the values. So that is the problem. Also, our mindset is of consumerist attitude is there, and it is increasing day by day. So we have become consumerist in nature. Whatever is being provided on the name of freebies, we don't hesitate. Let's consume more and more, more and more. So this attitude problem is also there. And ultimately, there is a problem of policy paralysis because there is lack of statutory mechanism to deal or regulate the pressing issue of the freebies in India. So their policy, even the policy is silent over this. So these are the impediments to control the freebies in India. So hope you got a very good understanding and clarity over this issue. Now let's have a look at the way forward. Now we should discuss about the way forward. So the way forward is there in a structural reform. So we should there are series of structural reforms which are required. So the first being that we need to have a statutory independent police commission along the lines of election commission to supervise the crime investigation and the prosecution of political crimes too in India. The second one, that we need to have more teeth or more power to election commission, and the election commission has stated that its proposal to union law ministry sent in 2016 to amend the rules and enable it to deregister a political parties for gross electoral malpractices is gathering dust. Still, no attention is being paid. And the Supreme Court can issue direction to center to expedite this. So this should be done. That already the matter is lying with you since 2016. Why don't you give sufficient power to election commission through parliament that they should be enabled to deregister a political party for gross electoral malpractices? Also, we need to revise the FRBM Act. Government needs to revise the FRBM Act. So, planning a limit on expenditure on loan waivers, free electricity, and water is equally important. Okay, and next we should talk about outcome based budgeting. So, focusing on outcomes and not merely outlays makes the departments accountable for their work, as it is done in Jharkhand recently, which fixes responsibility on the deaths. Then the water ministry or the electricity department, they will have their own targets, and it will be outcome based budgeting. So they will be accountable for their work, they will be accountable for their resources, so accordingly they will also take action. And the next is related to role of finance commission. So finance commission, we know that it is an independent body. So when it makes allocation to various states, it can take into account the debt of the state, and in context of that, they can find out whether the state's economy will be sustainable over the years in the context of the freebies or not. Okay, and already even our NK Singh, chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, he also told that it is passport to fiscal disaster. Okay, and it can lead to subnational bankruptcy. That at the state level, it can lead to bankruptcy. Okay, next you will suggest about the electoral reforms. So we need to strengthen the internal party democracy so that the electoral promises must be development driven. The second point, that we should bring the freebies under model code of conduct so that it can be regulated by the election commission as well. And also ultimately, it everything is dependent upon demand. So if voters are demanding, we need to educate, or we as a voters, we should increase our awareness, and educating the public, educating the voters is important on the effects of such freebies and need for physical discipline in future. Okay, and even Supreme Court has observed in the past that the not in the past, because of which we are discussing. It was in news that Supreme Court has observed that the freebies distribution, it leads to future economic disaster. Even NK Singh also told the same thing. And the voters also cannot exercise their right to choose as informed, wise decisions. So we have discussed this under argument. Okay. So we need to eliminate this serious issue, and because of which we discussed this whole issue, because this lies with both political parties and voters. We both are responsible. As a voter, we are responsible, and the political parties are responsible. Okay, so this is it. With this, we end up our discussion for the day. Hope you got very good clarity that why it was in news, and from what all dimensions we should analyze this issue. And if you are thinking and you are covering the issues from these many dimensions, then it will be very good for you. Okay, and there is an important announcement. So recently we conducted a workshop related to our current affairs. So if you are struggling with current affairs, how to cover, how to make notes, then you can refer that video. The link you will be getting on our Telegram channel. And if you are still struggling with current affairs, so very recently we have announced a program, ACE program, that is ERIT Current Affairs Exclusive Classroom Module. We have announced. So that detail also you can find in the Telegram channel or on our website, eritacademy.in, under courses. You will find current affairs there, you can check. Okay, so hope you had very good time, very good discussion, and let's meet in the next video. Till then, take care, enjoy, and revise very well.